It was early enough that the woods were perceptibly chillier than the rest of the valley. Veris crossed her arms across her chest for warmth as the carriage vanished into the distance. It felt as if she had stepped unexpectedly into a cold, deep pond. The air was sweet and damp with fallen leaves. Nothing but trees, moss, mulch. No hint of the village's perpetual pall of smoke. With unfeeling hands, she tightened the buckles of her satchel, unbuttoned a pocket to get her handkerchief and its tiny magics, unlaced and relaced her boots. Then she took an enormous breath, her first really deep one of the day, and said quietly, "I have returned. I am one known to you. Please allow me safe passage to bring back those who are lost." The woods said nothing. She hadn't expected them to, and if they had, she was fairly sure she would have screamed. If anything, it went still. The breeze that swept the canopy pausing for a moment as if listening, the hiss of the grass in which she stood falling silent. At any rate, no matter what you said, those inside the Elmever would make their own decisions and play their own games, and nothing would sway them from their ways. Certainly nothing human. It had been more to comfort herself than anything else. When she could put it off no longer, she stepped carefully into the woods, not looking back. The carriage had, at her request, dropped her at the closest point of the north woods to the castle walls, where the tyrant had said the dogs had scented the trail. And indeed, her first few steps showed her the oval droplets of scarlet spattered on the leaves and grass where the handlers must have whipped their terrified dogs half to death before vanishing from the other end of the lead, freeing the animals to run up the slope to the grey stone walls they knew. This was not where the children's bedchamber was, but they could have easily walked around the walls in the dark and simply gone out the gate. Two small, creeping forms in a dark, silent night. Nothing big or armed or threatening. The guards had probably not even noticed. Oh, what had they been thinking? Veris walked slowly, despite the urgency that already burned in her chest, studying the vegetation underfoot. Well, if you didn't know any better, it was just... well... the temptation of it all. Herbs still growing at this time of year, so tender they would be bruised by a child's bare foot. Friendly shrubbery, perfect for hide-and-seek. Rabbits to practice archery on. Fat blackberries, plump hazelnuts. The great black and grey and violet-barked trees rising into unseen heights. A canopy so far up you could almost perceive individual leaves, only their shouts of crimson, amber, gold, and the feathery dark streaks of the evergreens thrust out into them like ink.